Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Now for anyone who is new, I am Bunny and this is my 2020 NV200 van. I travel all across the country and do all sorts of cool adventures. But alas, today is not about those adventures. It's about this van right here. In fact, this van right here has been amazing because along the way, we started out with a no-build van build, meaning that there were no screws, no cut wood, nothing like that. And by doing that, it has allowed me to, along the way, make changes. I have customized my bed, put in a cool shelf, and actually added this roof rack just pretty recently. But today we're going to be adding something that is going to help us with the great outdoors while also being a part of the van. Now, for those of you who've been following the channel for a while and have seen all the cool steps along the way, you probably saw that there was a box in my van whenever I did my hubcap video. And today, today, that is the day we're actually going to be getting what's in that box out and installing it out here. Now this right here is the box in question, and as you can see, it's pretty large and in charge. In fact, this is going to be a big project today, guys. Now, by the size of that box, you can probably already tell this is gonna be an awning, but it's not just any awning. This is an awning I actually found on Amazon by Danchel Outdoors. It is 5 feet by 6.5 feet, and the order experience was very, very pleasant. I ordered it on the 22nd. I had it within 2 days, and here it is, ready to be installed now. Now, there are a lot of awnings out on the market right now. This is just one of them. I will be linking it below, but this is going to fit onto my roof rack right here and then be able to pull out and provide a nice shade. So instead of me standing in the direct sun talking to you guys right now, after this is installed, I'll have a nice comfortable temperature under a little bit of a shade to make things like this easy. Now again, if you are interested in this one, here are the specs right here. It was $165, and we're hoping this is an easy install. Crossing our fingers. Okay guys, as always on bigger projects like this, I don't have the tool knowledge, so I am enlisting a lifeline. Today, my dad is going to be helping us out. Yay! Okay, so as you can see, it came in a big box, and then inside it had a sleeve of plastic on it, and then we had a small package of all the different connectors, and then also the instructions. So that's a very big positive for this brand. Now, on the same note, instructions don't always tell the full story as to what we're supposed to do. I mean, you could check out my Carcel video and learn more about that. But I am confident that with Dad by my side and the instructions that we're gonna get this done. Okay, Dad is going through the packaging right here and kind of getting everything out, and they actually provided tools also. So I was not expecting that at all. That's part of the reason why I was like, Dad, I need your help, because he has tools, but this actually came with its own tools. So basically what Dad is doing right now is he's making sure that all of the necessary parts are in fact included, and the tools were a big surprise. But in order for us to secure this up here, you do need a few things, and so he's just making sure that the brackets are there, the proper screws, the right amounts, because anytime that you order anything off of Amazon, if for some reason you get the package and it doesn't have everything that it's supposed to, you can return it at Amazon's expense, and then also a lot of times they'll send you the correct product if they've messed up somehow. So that's something that's really positive about Amazon. As you can see here, everything is included. Everything except for this pair of scissors. Those are mine. So everything seems to be present and accounted for, which is a big, huge positive. I'm assuming we will also be getting a ladder because, well, I am not able to do this at the right height, and Dad's tall, but he's not that tall. Also, while he is off doing that, let me show you what this looks like. The awning itself is going to be gray. It does have this outer covering with all of course, their branding on it. It has big, sturdy zippers. There are two, so one on each side, and they meet in the middle down here. Very nice. And then on the back side, that is where the post will be that we will attach everything to. So this thing is a pretty hardy little thing for it not to have cost more than it did, and I'm pretty impressed with it so far. Okay, Dad was just sizing some things up. There's a conversation to be had here. You know, sometimes you have to go through it to get to it. Well, this is one of those scenarios. So the roof rack that I currently have on the van, we placed at the front and the back dots. There's 3 sets of dots on the top of the van, and we chose to put it at the longest setting. So the problem is that the awning itself is a bit shorter than the roof rack. Now, this could be a problem, but it's not gonna be. What we're gonna do instead is use a little creativity. And in the meantime, you guys are gonna get to see how to install a roof rack, because Dad is actually going to be moving this one back here forward just a little bit. Okay, so right now, for example, this is where the roof rack is. And over here, you'll notice that there is a little black dot. That is actually an attachment so that you can put cargo carrier shelves like these on top. So there was one right under here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to move this to there and then plug up these holes back here and seal them again. So for all of you who were asking how I installed my roof rack, now you're going to get to see firsthand what it takes to do that, which I love. And I'm sorry I didn't do the video in the first place, but here you go, guys. Here you go. There's one thing that van life has taught me, is that you have to be flexible. Nothing ever goes how you see it in your mind's eye when you're planning. And things like this roof rack, it's just about par for course. But that's okay, we're gonna get this done, and it's just gonna take a little bit of creative thinking. And thank goodness I have Dad for this, because I would be freaking out right now if I didn't have him. Now the little thing I just unscrewed is this guy right here. This is what's gonna go back into that hole in just a minute. But Dad is actually doing some adjustments of his own, putting the rack in the correct spot. So let's let him work a little bit. And while he does that, I'm actually going to clean off this little guy just to make sure that the seal does a good job, that there's no dirt or anything junky kind of impeding it from going back in and tightening up completely. Now what he's doing right now is he's actually lining up the holes so that he can screw in the roof rack, and then he's also tightening it down so that it'll stay in the correct place. And then he's going to plug up that other hole using this thing right here that I just cleaned off. And with all of the big stuff like the ladder and the step stool and then the extra tools, I think you can see why this project is one that I definitely wanted to do while I was at base camp, because I don't have access to any of these things on the road. And so I wouldn't personally be able to do this by myself, not to mention my limited knowledge. So it's okay to find someone who can in fact help you along the way. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you benefit from the expertise of others. So if you guys are interested in having a roof rack and can't yourself, or you want to put on an awning and can't yourself, finding someone who can help you is okay. Okay, so a slight change of plans, just a little one, not anything too crazy, just a little one. So we figured out how to make the brackets work with the roof rack after we move it. But one thing we noticed with my specific roof rack, and this may not be the case with anyone else, is that whenever we put the brackets on, it adds a little bit of height to the bolts that were already securing the roof rack, so we need some longer ones. So we're gonna go purchase those really quickly. You know, that again may not be the case with anybody else's. It's probably just the way that I personally am putting my whole setup together, but we're going to Tractor Supply to go pick up some bigger bolts. In the meantime, Dad is going ahead and taking the caps off of the roof rack, and he's going to go ahead and remove this bar fully until we get back, just because that's going to save a couple steps by just going ahead and taking it off. Now, the reason I share projects like this with you guys, even whenever they kind of go astray a little bit, is because I want you to see that, you know, it's perfectly normal not to have all the answers as you're going through this and doing something completely unfamiliar. Even Dad, who has installed things previously and things like that, sometimes we still have to make a couple tweaks here and there, and it's no big deal. That's just life. So we're going to go ahead and finish putting everything away. I'm going to clean out the front seat, and then Dad and I are off to Tractor Supply, and you guys are coming with me. Thank goodness for Dad, because I have no idea. Look at all these options. I wouldn't even know at the beginning of what this thing is called, so definitely in the right spot with the right person. Now, something I'm learning right now from Dad is that if you don't know what size something is, you can come up here and kind of screw it on and figure out what size, and also the threads, things like that. So never knew that, never knew that. And this is what I'm talking about right here, so you can kind of compare and screw into the different holes and find out what number that you're looking for, and the numbers correspond to the little trays down here. Okay, back from the store and back to work we go. Dad's going to work on the roof rack first, and we're going to get those brackets installed, and then comes time for the big show. Okay, so what you're looking at is the bracket that actually attaches to the awning, and we're setting it up kind of like this right here so that we can put the awning on this outside part. Now on this bracket there are 4 holes, and initially we thought that we would be using these 2, but in fact we're going to go ahead and pull it back this way so it hangs out a little bit further, because what was happening was the roof rack itself wasn't allowing for enough space for us to be able to secure the awning if we used these 2. Okay guys, something a little strange happened. It's a pretty day outside, it's nice and sunny, it's kind of hot here in Texas, but there's also an occasional gust of wind. And a while ago we had the doors all opened up on the van, and the instructions somehow managed to get swept up in that, and I don't know where they went. So thank goodness again for Dad, because he figured out our next step. Now he's completing the part that he was working on, but let me show you what we're doing next. Okay, so right now we're looking at the back side of the awning, and this is the little metal channel, and what Dad did was he actually popped off this part. It's just a plastic piece that comes off. Then you slide these into the channel, and then you will adjust them in a few minutes to figure out exactly where they need to be to line up with the brackets on the top of the van. Now there is a spot for 2 of those on each side, and then they will connect to the 2 different pieces of the roof rack. So that's what we're working toward right now. Dad's just got to make some last minute adjustments, and then it's all good. It's all good. And this is what those look like before they actually slide into the channel. They have this nice flat side, and then they have, of course, the area that you screw onto. So that's going to be used in just a few minutes. Okay, so Dad is actually securing the bolts. We put them on initially so that it could have a little bit of flex in it so we could position it, but he is locking it down now, so we're almost done. We're almost done. Okay guys, everything is screwed into place, bolted into action, and ready to go. But what do we do now? Again, we don't have the instructions, so I did do a quick YouTube search, and this looks pretty easy, but if you've been on the channel for a while, you know sometimes easy is not always easy for me. I'm hoping that with a little help, this goes smoothly, but you guys are gonna get to watch all the action. Guys, that was so easy to actually pull out and put up. I am shocked at how fast this thing really went together, and I had every anticipation of this being a really difficult adventure. But other than the stuff that happened with having to adjust it for my personal roof rack, this awning was super easy. Now check this out. Look at this. This is so awesome. They do make them both wider and longer. So if you're interested in something that is a bit bigger, they do have them. But this is perfect for my tiny sized van. This is absolutely perfect. Okay, so let's talk about some of the different moving parts of this, and then we'll disassemble it to see if it's as easy to disassemble as it was to put up. You can see here that the awning itself attaches to the support poles, which are actually built in, and it does so through some pretty heavy duty Velcro right here. The material that they have used on the awning is kind of a thinner material, but it definitely has a nice feel to it. Inside this corner, you can see where the inner workings of the built-in poles come into play. So this is where it is attached, and of course it comes out and goes all the way to the end, and then it attaches to the exterior pole, and it does so through this little channel that it's actually connected to. So that's kind of cool also. Now, where do the exterior poles come from? Well, they actually fit into this little channel right here, and there's a space for each of them. Now this is going to be perfect for me sitting outside of a campsite, maybe with a little table underneath it to provide a little bit of shade. But one of the other things that I really liked about this particular awning is the fact that you can adjust the height of the legs. Let me show you. In order to do that, all we do is we take this and we twist it, and then we can put the post further in, and then we twist the post into place to tighten it, and then we can actually tilt it like this. Now we can do this with both of them, so we can create a nice living space. We can shun the little bit of light that's coming through if we need to, making it a perfect way for us to have a reprieve from some of the desert sun or the beach sun or just the summer sun in general. And I really like that aspect. But one more thing. Now, not only is it super simple to raise or lower, just like I showed you, but also they have provided these right here, which means that you can actually tie onto those and stake down your awning and give it a little bit more security. And they provide you with 2 small stakes and then also some line to tie it all together. Now, I personally prefer to provide my own stakes most of the time because I like something that's a little bit more beefy, but it's nice that they do have them in there. And this is what they look like, just in case you were wondering. Again, I like something a bit more beefy that just like really grabs onto the ground and holds on, but at the same time, I'm probably not going to be using this in like super windy conditions because Awnings aren't really designed for hurricane force winds, guys. I know, shocking, but I won't be using it during, you know, those kind of conditions anyway, so it probably wouldn't matter on these. Now, I know the burning question on everyone's mind is, can I take this down on my own? We're about to find out. Let's see if I can in fact take down the Danchel awning on my own, because that's what I'm gonna need to be able to do anytime I'm at a campsite. Sure enough, guys, we did it. We did it. I am so happy right now that I was able to not only take this out, but also put it up and it go according to plan. Oh, such a breath of fresh air. Such a breath of fresh air. You know, as much as van life has challenging days, and I tell you, you need to be able to adapt, it's also a really big moment whenever things go how they're supposed to. Now, a lot of people had been asking me why I put a roof rack on my van if I didn't have anything on it, and asking me if it had changed my fuel economy and things like that. And now you guys know why. Now you know why I was making some changes. I have a few other things that are coming up in the future also, so this roof rack is going to get a lot of use, to say the least. You know, from the beginning, I started out with something super simple, and since I've done a lot of different projects, but all of those were made possible by the fact that as I traveled, I found things that would be helpful or handy as I kind of went on to the next adventure, and I've made changes accordingly. So in the beginning, I did say, do something simple. But I did that so that you could find your own path to doing projects like these. These are projects that help you to find the things that make you happy. For example, if I'm camped with friends and I am out in the middle of the desert sun, now I have this that I can pull out and put away. If I'm going to be there for a few days, I have a carcel so that I can set it up when it's a little bit less of a windy condition. I love that with each of these steps, I'm able to get one step closer to my dream rig. And I hope that along the way that you guys are also picking up on some cool things that might pique your interest as well. This guy right here is going to be my new gathering place while I'm at camp with all of my friends. And I love that I can put a couple of chairs outside of it, kick back, and enjoy some time while still getting a little bit of those summery rays. And as we're traveling, I'm sure I'm going to get tons of other uses out of this guy too. Again, I hope that through watching this video, you know that it's okay to not have everything exactly how you want it. It's also okay to have to kind of make some modifications here and there, like we did with the roof rack. But all in all, I thank you guys for coming along with me. And if you have enjoyed coming for this adventure today, leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and check out my entire van life playlist. I have a really good collection of all sorts of crazy, weird van projects that might be of interest to you. Till next time, guys, bye!